Obviously, some rotation tweaks going on. How do you feel that all worked? Kind of maybe tighten up with the rotation, kind of get that first and second unit put together. How did you think that all worked out?
I think it's worked well. Found a couple things in our second unit that's working. Trayce with CP is dynamite. And throughout CP's career, one thing that works is him with a lob threat, him with a dynamic roller to the rim. It opens up the defense. And, him and Trayce has found a connection. And they're playing really, really well. And, Moses working his way back into the lineups, been playing extremely well. And so it's, I think we're finding something there with that lineup for sure.
Draymond, you guys had probably one of the best defensive nights in a long time, if not this season. What do you assess to just everyone just being cohesive on the floor from the first unit to the second unit?
Yeah, it started with Jacob Rubin coming in with a defensive game plan, the intensity that he brought to our film session and our walkthrough earlier. Attention to detail. It was a very detailed game plan for us. And, then guys did a great job of executing it, trying to, fire in when we needed to fire, rebounding the basketball. I think, we ended up with, 16 turnovers, but we did a good job of taking care of the ball for the most part and not letting them get out and run in transition. And, we've always said if we can make teams play against us in the half court, it changes everything. It gives a whole different look to our team and our defense.
Hey, Draymond, just how significant was Trayce's stint there in the third quarter after the 20-point lead was cut to 6?
It was huge. I told him thank you. He saved me because I was awful in the third quarter. Missing layups, turning the ball over, and Steve got me out of there. Got Trayce in, and, he was blocking shots. He was rebounding. He was dunking the ball. Good finishes. And he just brought the life back to us. They were starting to make their run. And when you're playing against a great team, they're always going to make a run, and you try to get yourself out of it. And I just couldn't get it going there in the third quarter. And, Trayce came in and saved me for sure because I was awful, but saved the day for us. Built the lead back up. I think they cut it to 6. And he was able to make a lot of plays on both ends of the floor to get us back in a position to take control of this game again.
He blocked Giannis 3 times. How difficult is what he did defensively against Giannis?
It's very difficult. You don't see Giannis get blocked often. Giannis is one of the best players in this league for a reason. There's not many people that can block him at the rim. And, a couple of them was just straight up. It wasn't like it was him coming weak side or anything like that. It's just straight up him trying to drive him and him blocking the shot. And, it says a lot about his skill, but also to not back down from that challenge. So many people back down from that challenge. And I get it. I said he's great. He plays with a lot of force. He's going to make contact with you every time he drives the basketball. And, you can be soft and be moved, or you can step up to the challenge, and Trayce did that.
Draymond, how much of a carryover was Sunday's loss into how well you guys played tonight?
I think we totally forgot about Sunday when we were in Boston. We had a great flight home, fun flight home after a good 3-1 road trip. You never want to let losses stack up, especially at the point of the season we're at. But I can't remember one person today saying anything about Boston game on Sunday. As I said in my interview the other day, you take that one, you flush it, and you move on. And I think we did a great job of that. We didn't watch film on Boston. We didn't do any of that. We just kept it pushing. It was great for us.
How was it to have Bob back in the building tonight?
Oh, man, it was great. Bob is, when you talk about this franchise and this dynasty that's been built, and so oftentimes it's the players that are mentioned. It's Steph, it's Clay, it's myself, it's Loon. It's so oftentimes you get the players get the credit. But the work that Bob did, and by the way, it's not putting the teams together. for a basketball savant like Bob, that's the easy part. It was the work that he did on the relationships. Every single day being in here, building relationships from top to bottom, from the best player to the worst, from Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, Kirk Lacob, Steve Kerr, Raymond Ritter, from on to a community, from top to bottom, the relationships, the work that he did on relationships every day was one of my biggest takeaways in working with Bob. That's the same guy who, when I was suspended for Game 5, didn't come to the game. He came and sat with me and watched the game, and such a special, special soul. And I think, we've all been able to learn from him and to see him be celebrated tonight the way he should have. You talk about jerseys getting retired and all those things. His will. His name will be up there in the rafters with what he brought to this organization when no one believed that this organization could be anything. Was a Bay Area native who came back after spending 20 years in L.A. To take the franchise that he watched growing up, that he would go sit in the 200 seats with his dad just to watch a game. It was him that had a vision and a belief that I can go back there and lead a charge in taking a franchise to the promised land, the laughing stock of the NBA when he came back here. And, there's your goal in life should always be to leave whatever it is that you're leaving behind in a better place than it was when you got it. And he far exceeded that. He left it in the best place it could possibly be. And without, it is a true statement in the character of the man that he is, because it's not easy. What he was able to do, he had to manage me often while doing all this other stuff, and when it went right, he was right there, less there when it went right though. He spent less time with you when it went right. Spent far more time with me when it was going wrong. And most people are the opposite. Most people want to be there when it's good, be there when the flowers are being thrown, be there when it's Draymond, you're great, you're defensive player of the year. That's when most people are there. But when no one wants you around, when everybody's saying, oh, that guy shouldn't be here anymore, when everybody's saying he's the cause of the demise of this franchise and all these things, that's when he's right there. And I couldn't have asked for a special person to spend my first 11 years with, because if it wasn't for him, I'm not sure where I'd be, where my career would have gone. The things that I've learned from him about being a father, being a husband, being a great person, I'm not sure I'm sitting here talking to you today without that man.
It seems kind of silly to ask another question here, but your minutes haven't been real high recently, and looks like nobody's really had, except for Steph. The way this roster is and the way this rotation is set up, is that kind of, you think, the way it's going to be? 26, 28 minutes, and everyone, other guys get 14, 16, and that's good with everybody?
That's the way it's been, and I don't really foresee that changing. No time soon. Usually when you get close to the playoffs, sometimes those things change. But I think, that is the strength of this team, is that we got so many different guys that can come in and affect the game in a positive way. And, as a coach of this team, you want to lean into that, especially our schedule hasn't been easy. It's been a very tough schedule. And, I think Steve is doing an incredible job of not only monitoring minutes, but finding the right combinations to make those minutes as powerful as they can be. You know, you look up Trayce, he played 18 minutes, but the combinations that he was out there with was great combinations, and which allowed him to have 15.7. Now, granted, he put the work in. I'm not saying everybody else did, but he had 15.7 rebounds, plus 20 from the floor in 15 minutes. I mean, in 18 minutes. And so, you know, it's on us as players that when you're out there, you give everything you got. Don't take plays off, because you're not playing a bunch of minutes anyway. You know, I've 25 minutes. Like, I can't take plays off playing only 25 minutes. You know, and there's no reason to take plays off. And so, I think that's one of the beautiful things about this is, like, everybody when you're out there on the court, you should be flying around and jumping off the wall, because you're not playing a million minutes. So give everything you got when you're out there.
All right, we got a game in 20 hours. Thank you.